I'm here with another shaman build for the upcoming patch in Shadowlands 9.2. Again, if you guys don't know, patch 9.2 is coming probably in a few months, but PTR should be soon. And it's going to bring with it a bunch of changes. There's like a new continent and there's new content to do, but one of the biggest things is that there's going to be double legendaries being able to be used. And so I've been going through and looking at some of the different builds that you can utilize with this double legendary. So the last video that I did, I talked about the Primal Lava, the Lava Lash build, and does a lot of Lava Lash damage and Flame Shock damage. In this one, I'm going to talk about the Witch Doctor build, which has to do with your wolves. This is basically the infinite doggo train, whatever you want to call it, build. Okay, you're just going to have so many um, feral spirits out kicking butt, giving you buffs, all kinds of buffs that we'll talk about in a minute. So, what do we need to make this build work? First of all, we're not in 9.2 yet, but in 9.15, I'm going to show you guys in a minute on the dummies here that this build actually works right now to a degree, just like with the Lava Lash build that I talked about. It works, but it's going to work so much better in 9.2 that you're going to be kind of blown away. So, Um, right now, if you take the Witch Doctor Wolf Bones, you get a really good cooldown on your dogs. And let me just explain what's the goal of this build. As I've kind of said on the outset, you want to keep your feral spirits up as much as possible, and you want to utilize the buffs that the feral spirits are giving you. And let me just show you really quick, actually, um, what the buffs are that they're going to give you. Let me switch to this. Okay, so we're here. Let me just maximize that. Okay, so you can see on this page here, this is sort of it's the final row talent that we're taking. It's called Elemental Spirits. That's going to buff your Feral Spirits. That's going to allow them to give you buffs to your attacks. What do those buffs look like for you guys who've never seen before? There's a Fire buff, there's a Frost buff, and there's a Lightning buff. So the Fire one increases your fire damage by 20% and makes Lava Lash put a dot on enemies. We don't really care about that in this particular build, but it is nice. We will be pressing Lava Lash, so it's just going to give us more damage. The Lightning one increases the damage of Storm Strike and Wind Fury by 35%, which is huge. It's really huge. That's the Lightning one. Sorry, I skipped the Frost one. I'll get to the Frost one. The Lightning one is huge. Storm Strike and Wind Fury by 35%. That's the bulk of our damage in this build. We are going to be running Forceful Winds, so that's a huge buff if you get the Lightning one. The Ice one causes all of your attacks to deal a fixed amount of frost damage and slow targets. So it's all damage, guys. It's all good. But honestly, if you get more than one Lightning Dog, your damage just goes like right through the roof. It's pretty crazy. So um, that's what we're looking at doing. We're looking at getting as many dogs out as we can so that we can maintain these really cool buffs that we're going to get. And yes, if you're wondering, you can have more than um, two dogs out at the same time. So one cast of Spirit Wolves is going to get you two dogs, and then with this build that we're talking about, we're trying to cool down Spirit Wolves as much as possible. And there is going to be a scenario, guys, where you can have four Spirit Wolves out at the same time. You'll be able to cast it twice, and you'll have them all going at the same time. So like, imagine if you got four Lightning Spirit Wolves. That would increase Storm Strike damage by like 120% or something stupid. Sort of like 140%. Anyway, this is kind of the goal, and in 9.2 you'll be able to achieve this. Right now we can't totally achieve this, but let me show you the crux of what's going on with this build. So legendary wise, you're going to want to pick Witch Doctors, and here's what Witch Doctors does. It gives you a chance to gain a Maelstrom weapon stack, a higher chance, and whenever you gain a Maelstrom weapon stack, your Feral Spirit cooldown goes down by 2 seconds, okay? We'll get back to that in a minute. You're going to pair that with Seeds of Rampant Growth. So you're going to have to go Night Fae if you want this Feral Spirit build to work. Okay. So what does the Night Fae legendary do? It says that each pulse of Fae Transfusion reduces the cooldown of Feral Spirits by 9 seconds and increases your crit chance. So the cooldown reduction is what we're looking for. So um, uh, Fae Transfusion ticks 6 times. 6 times. So 6 times 9 is 54 seconds. So the cooldown of Feral Spirits, because we're taking the talent, the cooldown is 1.5 minutes. It's 130 seconds. If you subtract 54, then you go down to 84 seconds, right? Which is a minute and 24 seconds. 54 minutes. No, sorry, I did that all wrong. Sorry, you bring it down to 36 seconds. You'll bring the cooldown of Pharaoh's Blitz down to 36 seconds just with that legendary alone, which is really good. So the playstyle would be something like this. You get to your pack, you would cast your dogs, and then you would immediately press Fey Transfusion to get that huge cooldown reduction. And then you would do your normal attacks, and your dogs would come off cooldown really, really quickly, and you press them again, and you would have 4 dogs out at the same time for a little bit. And then once all those dogs stopped being like just once they ran out of time, sorry, then you would have a bit of a lull there. There'd be a bit of like a valley where you'd have to just you're going to slowly work on your Maelstrom stacks to get the dogs back, and then you get to cast them again. So here's what these two legendaries do. The Witch Doctor legendary gives you consistent cooldown reduction. Every time you gain a Maelstrom weapon stack, you get 2 seconds off your dog. So it's consistently bringing it down. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It just consistently will add up over time. The Fate Transfusion one gives you a huge burst of cooldown reduction all at once. So we're going to need both of these to work together. But let me just show you. Right now, I've got the Maelstrom, sorry, the Witch Doctor one equipped, and I'm going to show you how quickly you can cool the dogs down, even without even the big Fey Transfusion burst. I can't wear both those legendaries yet, but we will be able to in 9.2. So let me just show you with a sort of an ideal setup. We get our Windfury Totem down. We're gonna Lust. We're gonna throw out our dogs. We're gonna Fey Transfuse, and then we're gonna go to town, and we're gonna try and work down the cooldown of Feral Spirits. What I want you to look at is this right here. Pay attention to the number on the Fey Transfusion. On the Feral Spirits, and watch how quickly it comes back. Okay. Okay. Wind Fury is down. We got all our buffs on, right? We're gonna go this. Watch the Feral Spirits, guys. Look at it. 59, 50, 48, 35, 25, 15. There, we got him out again. We got 4 dogs right now, without even the second legendary. We keep going. Just doing it for fun now. Now we're gonna have less, but we're cooling it down. Like we're not going as quickly as we were before, but here we go. We're doing like 13, 14k DPS, by the way, just in case you guys didn't think this build was good. Look, we got the dogs back again. There's our third cast of dogs, so keep going. Minute 10, minute 9, 54 seconds, 51, 40, 30, 25, 20, 16, and we're out of Lust, so we're going to be going much slower now. And we got them to cast again. Like, this fight was 50 seconds long, and we cast Feral Spirits 4 times in that 50-second window, right? Is that correct? Looks like 3. Yeah, we cast it 4 times. 3 times. I don't know. Anyway, you get the point. The point is, just with the Witch Doctor legendary alone, you can see how quickly we can get the dogs to come back. And again, we're getting this huge bonus of the dogs. Let's look at our damage breakdown just to show you some of that. So you can see there's the ice dog damage right there. We didn't even press the molten one didn't apply because we just didn't press our fire stuff. But what this isn't showing is the lightning. There's the feral spirits damage, by the way, just by itself. The feral spirits, all the little dogs by themselves did almost 80,000 damage in that short window of time. Just so there's a lot of extra damage here. Don't think that the dogs aren't doing any damage on their own. They're doing a lot of damage on their own, and they're giving you this ice buff and the fire buff and the lightning buff, which buffed our storm strike and our wind fury. That's why they're so high. Again, that was a very short fight, but this is what you can do with just this one legendary. In 9.2, you'll be able to also have the seed legendary, and you're going to do what I just showed you. You're going to press your dogs, and you're going to press Fey Transfusion, and you're going to basically have your dogs back right away, and you'll have 4 dogs out for like 12 or 14 seconds. and then you'll get into the lull maybe. But we didn't even have a lull there because we had so much haste from our lust window. There was no lull during lust. So like on pull, if you're doing a raid boss or if you're doing like a big pack in Mythic Plus, you'll be able to get 3, 4, 5 casts of feral spirits off in that first like minute. Guaranteed you'll be able to do that, guys. And the damage will be absolutely bonkers. Um, Not to mention just all the different buffs that you're going to be getting from that. So that's what you need to make this build happen. I'm going to go into the talents in a second here and just say what else. We need this legendary and we need the seeds. You have to be Night Fae, obviously. Just really quickly on the soul binds, I'm picking Naya. You don't have to pick Naya, but Naya gives you mastery. She gives you 25 mastery. Um, for each stack of Fae, a Grove Invigoration, you get 16 stacks from Fae Transfusion. Okay, 16. That's what is that? 2, 4, 4, 8, 12. So that's 400 mastery, right? So that's a lot. And mastery just gives us more damage. And because we're doing a lot of mixed damage here, we're doing frost and nature and fire damage with the dogs. So they're all getting buffed by this. It's a significant mastery boost and a significant buff to our damage. So you can pick whichever one you want, but this is just, I'm just sort of defaulting to Naya on this one. As far as the talents go, what do we need to do to make this build work? Well, you you should pick, I mean, you can actually pick whatever you want, but I would say you should probably pick these three here: Elemental Assault, Storm Fury, Flurry, and Forceful Winds, and then you have to pick this. This is like, obviously, this is a must pick, obviously, because that's the whole point of this build, is to get the dogs back quicker and to get the elemental buffs that they're providing. So I just went with a simple setup here with these three. But honestly, guys, because we're doing such a mixed bag of damage, you could experiment here. You could go hot hand, and if you get the buff, you could try to weave in some lava lashes during the lust window. That might not work very well at all. But this, the one other talent that I think is mandatory is elemental assault, and um, that's because it helps to give you, it guarantees that you're going to get one stack of Maelstrom weapon. If you guys saw in our fight here, look at the auras. We got 187 stacks of Maelstrom weapon. Okay? Remember, this is the entire point of this build. The Witch Doctor Legendary says each time you gain a stack of Maelstrom weapon, the cooldown of Feral Spirits goes down by 2 seconds. So over the course of this fight, we reduced the cooldown of Feral Spirits by 360 seconds or so, a little more than that, 374 seconds. That's what we did. That's what you're doing in this build. You're taking this cooldown and you're just reducing it, reducing it, reducing it, and getting it up again. That's what this does. So what does that mean? It means that we want to try and generate stacks of Maelstrom weapon as much as humanly possible. And how do we do that? Well, we do it with Elemental Assault. Storm Strike, when you cast it, has a chance to give you a Maelstrom weapon stack. All of your attacks do. All of your Wind Fury attacks, all of your auto attacks, your Lava Lash, your Sundering, your Crash Lightning, and your Storm Strike, they all have a chance, just a chance, to give you a stack of Maelstrom weapon. But this talent guarantees that you'll get at least one whenever you press Storm Strike. So I think it's actually essential to take this, and it's obviously essential to take this. The other ones, I think you could actually play around with this. Lashing Flames is bad. Elemental Blast could be good, because again, we're doing kind of mixed damage. But I think Forceful Winds is fine. Storm Flurry is very good. Hot Hand is actually might be very good as well. You could do Ice Strike. I don't know. You could experiment with Ice Strike. I have no idea. Probably not, but whatever. These two are really important. The whole point of this build is to generate stacks of Maelstrom weapon. Um, and the main ways you do that is by taking this talent here, by getting as much haste as you humanly possible, because that allows you to do your attacks more. And the more you're doing your attacks, then the quicker, the better chance you have of getting um, Maelstrom weapon stacks. The other thing to note, Fey Transfusion, if you read it in the tooltip here, it says a fully channeled Fey Transfusion generates 3 stacks of Maelstrom weapon. Once again, that's what we want to do, so you need to make sure you channel the Fey Transfusion right away. So you'll notice when I pop dogs and then Fey Transfuse, the cooldown of the dogs immediately starts going to, you're going to get 6 seconds of cooldown reduction there. The dogs themselves also generate stacks of Maelstrom weapon. Look at the tooltip over there in the bottom right hand corner. Feral Spirit generates one stack of Maelstrom Weapon immediately, and then one stack every 3 seconds for 15. So that's 6 stacks all on their own. And if you can cast them again, then you'll get 6 more, and then you cast them again, and you get 6 more. They can perpetuate themselves with this build. Um, so yeah, it's this generates 3. These guys generate 6 when you cast them. So that's 6 seconds plus 12. That's 18 seconds right away just in these abilities themselves. Your Storm Strike is guaranteed to give you a 2-second reduction, and then all your other attacks you're just kind of hoping to rely on them. In AoE situations, Crash Lightning is extremely important to press because it has a chance to proc Wind Fury Weapon on every single one of these targets. Excuse me. So when you press Crash Lightning, it has a chance to go Wind Fury Weapon, Wind Fury Weapon, Wind Fury Weapon, Wind Fury Weapon 4 times, which is 4 additional chances to get Maelstrom Weapon stack. So Crash Lightning is incredibly important in an AoE situation. In a single target situation, this is definitely not as quick. It's definitely slower to accumulate the stacks, but I still think in an AoE situation like a raid, for example, you will absolutely be able to get multiple sets of dogs going at the same time because with the Fey Transfusion buff, it's just 54 seconds from Fey Transfusion. It's such a massive cooldown reduction that you'll get a chance to do it. So um, yeah, I was trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. I think that's it. This plus this, you need to take Elemental Salt. You got to take Elemental Spirits. You take Witch Doctor Bones, and you take Seed of Rampant Growth, and that's the main build, guys. And it will allow you to um, really maximize your damage. I think what I was also going to say is you want to try and get as much haste as possible. I've gotten very lucky with my trinkets. I have 2 trinkets that are giving me 210 haste, 220 haste. So I have almost 40% haste, and I have some haste food on. I mean, it's just very lucky. But the more haste you have, the better this build functions. I mean, the more haste you have for enhancement shaman in general, the better this build functions. But I'm going to showcase it one more time. We're going to do another heroism thing. Make sure you always have Wind Fury totem down. That's actually really important. That's just sort of an annoying thing you have to keep down at all times, but you have to make sure you do it. And then just remember, guys, the opener for this build, let's say you're starting on a huge AoE pack and you just want to blow them up. You're going to pop Lust, make sure you have Wind for your totem down. You're going to pop Lust, you're going to pop your dogs, you're going to do Fate Transfusion, and then you're going to press Storm Strike and Crash Lightning for the most part. And remember that Chain Lightning helps you get back Crash Lightning more quickly. If you press Crash Lightning, and you have your 5 stacks of Maelstrom, you'll instantly be able to do a Chain Lightning, and that'll get you your Crash Lightning back quicker, and you'll just keep doing the cycle, and you'll watch the cooldown of your Feral Spirits just plummet to the ground, which is good. So everybody, again, watch the Feral Spirit cooldown. I'm gonna try and call it out, and then we're gonna try this again. Ready? Here we go. So we'll go. There we go. There we go. Storm Strike. Okay, 114, 110. It's going slower. 57. We're not getting as many procs. There we go. 42, 38, 35, 33, 18, 8. Oh, we got him back. Ah, we didn't have 4 up. That's okay. We keep going. 101, 60, 54, 48, 45, 36. This is just with one legendary, guys. We don't even have the Fey Transfusion legendary yet. And we're still... The dogs are just timing out, and we're casting them again. You see that? We're basically getting a new pack of dogs up every 15 seconds. That's insane. We're out of lust now, so it's gonna be slower. That's okay. 38, 36, 34, you can see it, 31, 25, that was a big Crash Lightning. Watch every Crash Lightning, guys. Watch this Crash Lightning. 17. Oh, oh, what happened there? I messed up. Messed up big time. Anyway, that is the build, guys, and you can you can see what raptors we got. I have raptors. They are spirit wolves, but I have the raptor skin. But we got a fire one, and we got a lightning one or an ice one. I think it's an ice one. I can't really tell. But guys, you can see that just with this build, just with this legendary here, the Witch Doctor one, in the Lust window, with the Witch Doctor build, we are getting our dogs back every 15 to 20 seconds, reliably. Outside of the Lust window, the Feral Spirit's cooldown is more like 25 seconds to 30. But once you get that second legendary with Fate Transfusion, you'll have them up all the time. I promise. You'll just have them up all the time. It'll be so cool. Um, Once again, these talents, you could try the Hot Hand buff. I think that Storm Flurry is probably better though. I don't actually know if this is true or not, but I'm fairly confident that this talent gives you a chance for Storm Strike to strike again. And I think that because of Elemental Assault, if it procs Storm Flurry, you'll get a second reduction in cooldown. So like it'll reduce the cooldown of Feral Spirits again because it procced again, and then it procs Elemental Assault again. I believe that's how that works, but I don't actually know 100% for sure. So um, Storm Flurry is probably more essential than I'm making it out to be. It's probably something you should definitely take. But anyway, guys, that is the build. I wanted to just showcase it. Hero and I did a bunch of research on this. I might post that video as well if you guys are interested in seeing that. Let me know in the comments. We did like a sort of a deep dive video on going over the numbers and trying to discover, you know, how do the interactions work, and all that research has kind of led me to doing this video here. So if you're interested in seeing the nitty gritty behind the scenes of like us working out the numbers and figuring it out, then I can put that video up here too. But that's the build, guys. Let me know what you think. I think it's going to be really, really strong in 9.2. I think it's going to be like maybe the best single target build for Enhancement Shaman in a raid, for example. In the upcoming raid, I think it's going to be just incredible. And it's going to be really fun to have all these dogs out all the time and to just have them buffing them and having all the bonuses. Like it's just a really fun playstyle. We haven't been able to do it yet this expansion because we've only been having access to one of these legendaries, which Dr. Bones, which as you can see obviously reduces the cooldown quite a bit, but once you have both, you'll have them up all the time. So anyway, that is it for me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.